everybody's outside. Towards the end of the class, I will kind of show some pointers on what to do if you're stuck inside and you still want to do some minor Joe practice. So I guess let's begin. Arishimasu. Arishimasu, everyone. And let's just warm up a little bit. So for those that don't know, the cat that's behind me is Tommy. He is sort of the outdoor cat that adopted me. So if you're curious what he looks like, that's him. And for the tricky part, so I do a wrist stretch by putting the long end of the Joe facing towards me or towards the inside of me, and you flip it around. Yeah, that usually gets people. So palm up, long end of the Joe goes towards the inside of, goes towards, I guess, you, not towards the outside away from you. And you flip it around, and you should be able to give it a good stretch. And on the other side, left hand, again, long into the Joe is towards your inside. And you're going to push it down and flip it around and stretch the wrist. Okay, so I'm going to move over here for this next exercise. You're going to lift the Joe up. And remember, when you're holding a Joe, you're always going to hold it in thirds. So when you grasp it at the top third, you want to have about a third of the Joe left. So you're going to lift this up slightly, and you're just going to rotate your hips back and forth. And it should automatically go in this figure 8. You don't want to force it. You want your hips to do the work. And then switch. You want to keep your arms out at a nice extension. And you should almost hear the Joe whizzing by your ears. If you don't and you're just doing it slowly, that's fine. Do it slowly. The point of this exercise is to make sure that the power is coming from your hips and you're not generating it with your arms. In terms of where to put the other hand, I like to keep it around the belt. I know some people like to put it behind their back. That's personal preference in my opinion. I think this is more natural for us since we never practice Aikido with one arm behind our back. And we're going to stop. So tonight, I'm going to focus more on something I learned when I first started to do weapons. That is, I started my weapons program under Sherman Phillips, who was taught, basically the system he was taught under was a WAMA. So I'm going to be showing some of the 20-jo Sabururi that was created by Saito Sensei. With that, I'm also going to explain to you some of the things I've done over the years to help me improve my weapons technique. And it's funny because in this day and age of computers, it took this to kind of finally tell me, hey, if you really want to check out your own weapons technique, one of the best things you can do is plug a camera up to your computer or use a computer laptop or whatever and photograph and video yourself. And while you're at it, you got a nice screen here that you can see and you can check your posture, you can check your technique in real time as well. So, because that's what I did obsessively. So that's what we're going to do today. Anyway, the other good thing about teaching you all the 20-jo Sabururi is that he's got plenty of videos of this online that you could also look up and try to learn off of. So with that said, I'm going to do the best I can to, hold on, let me move this back a little bit. I'm going to do the best I can to do all this while avoiding the cat. So, yeah, it's better. So we're going to first start off with doing Chokuski. And Chokuski is gripping it with the thumb up. So that'll be the first strike that we'll be doing. So you're here. Now, the way Saito Sensei taught it is you start with the Jo down, and what you're going to do is turn your hips and have your hand meet the Jo, and then pull forward. So you're going to pull forward with your hips. As you continue with the motion, you're going to pull back. And when I say the term open with your hips, this is what I mean by that. You're going to open with your hips. And as that happens, you're going to have the back palm face down and the front palm is going to start facing up. When you finish with the ski, it's going to flip. So both hands are going to rotate. So again, as you open up, you can see here, the palm is down on the back hand, the palm is up on the front hand. And then as you finish, it's going to reverse, where this palm is going to more or less face up, this palm is more or less going to face down. So, and the one thing you're going to realize, especially if you see a Saito Sensei video, is that he's very methodical. So it's not just this and then ski, ski. He doesn't want to see that, or he didn't want to see that. It was ski and then back down, ski and then back down. And so, and then the other thing, if you noticed, is that he stayed more or less flat. At least that's how I was taught. He wanted to keep everything at the belt line. I want to emphasize this because I know some styles will show more towards the throat. So in this case, he was flat with his skis. So ski, and then down, ski, and then down. And then the other thing you're going to notice is with your feet, you're going to push off the back foot. So it's not here and then step. You're not stepping, you're pushing off with the back foot. So it should almost feel like you're sliding across the ground. So here. And in terms of the front. And then here at a slight angle. So here. Now, I didn't realize this until it was pointed out to me last week, but I do keep somewhat of more of a T when I do weapons. And probably is more prevalent when I'm doing Boken versus Joe. But sometimes you will see me step back, and as you can see here, I have more of this as opposed to this. So, or even this, which is traditional. I don't even realize I do it, to be honest. So just kind of be aware that do I think this is more right than this, or even this at times? No, I think it's whatever you're most comfortable with. So again, for Tokuski, here. And again, always think about your movements. So when you're doing this, make sure you're applying that extra torque on the Joe. What I mean by that is you're not just going here and then sliding it like a pole cue. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that every time you're doing this, you're going to pull the Joe back and then you're going to spin that Joe to add torque to the strike. So the other thing that I like to point out with Joe strikes or with anything you're doing in Aikido is you want to make sure that whatever you do, your knees are slightly bent, you see at the same height all the way across the board or all the way across the platform, and your back is straight. So you always want to make sure you have good posture. As I heard one time from, I think it was one of Sherman's instructors anyway, he said you should always feel the collar to the back of your neck. You should never feel like it's separating. It should always feel like it's part of you. So here, strike forward, forward. However, when you have a camera in front of you and a nice big screen, you can watch yourself and how you begin and how you finish. So you can always watch yourself See how you begin, form your strike, see how you finish. So are there any questions? Are there any questions? I'm assuming no. Yes? No? Okay. So for the next strike, hold on. So for the next strike, I cannot remember the name of this one, but I think it's Gaishi. Steve? No, not Gaishi. I'll tell you all later. So on this one, you're going to cut, and in this case, both palms are down. So this is the second ski. So for this one, what I normally do is I'll let my hand hook and let it pop, and it's the same thing, except you're going to keep the front hand more or less rigid, as best I can say, or at least extended in the same spot. It's probably the better way of saying it. And you're going to come across and strike across. So as you can see here, you can either grab here and pull. I just think that's a little awkward feeling. So, or you can hook around and so as I was saying before, for this particular ski, you want to make sure that you bring it up and try to make it as vertical as possible. So either here, so you would be grabbing on top, in my case, I have a tendency to just do that with the palm or the back of the hand. I just find it a little bit faster, a little bit more comfortable. But this is what has been officially taught. So when in doubt, do this. So again, back up here. Make sure you keep it flat. And again, you're pushing off with the back of your foot. You're keeping your back straight. And even though I am constantly talking to the camera and looking at the camera, you should be focusing on what's in front of you. Because you're not going to look away, look in a different direction, like so, and strike from this direction. You're going to look and strike. Again, back to forward. You want to and if this angle helps at all, All right. Any questions with this one? I'm assuming we're all good? Okay. All right, cool. So the next one is when things start to get a little tricky. And the one thing you're going to notice with the 20 Joseph Brewery is that they get a little bit more complex as you go up, as you go down the list. So this next one is ski gate on Gayashi. So actually, I'm sorry, there's one more. It's basically the reverse ski. Again, I'll try to get the terminology down better next time. But we've all done this before in different kata. But what you're going to do is, the way I was taught is that you're going to bring the jo up to your elbow, and then you're going to strike. So it's here. What I'm doing here is I'm bringing this up, stepping back, and striking. And you're looking down the jo. The hands are hopefully, sorry. The hands are this hand here, the backhand, or in this case, it's going to be the left hand, is going to stay put. You're not changing how you're holding it or anything of that. Thumb up, so you'd be holding it like so. The backhand, or sorry, the front hand that becomes the backhand, the right hand then comes up and it grips palm up. So as you can see here, the palm is up. And so what you're going to do is strike, and then again, as you're going to look down that jo, because the target is the throat. So here. Now, oddly enough, the way I keep my feet, it's almost like I'm going a little bit of a wide omni on this. But this foot stays pointing this way, the other foot stays flat. So you're going to extend back, but you're going to keep this front foot pointing this way. Let me step back a little bit so you can see my feet better. So start left omni first. Here. And again, always take note of your posture. Make sure that when you finish, even though you're going this way, that your back still stays straight. So starting here. Actually, I'm going to do this way. Starting here, like that. And like most other martial arts, and I always keep forgetting to emphasize this, with the way you breathe on these, I don't like to do like, unless you want to do really controlled motions. Whenever you're doing a strike with a breathe, you're going to breathe in as you start and breathe out as you strike. So I just do it so subconsciously that I keep forgetting to tell people. But yeah, you're going to, much like almost any other martial art, the striking martial art, you're going to see that, you're going to experience that. So you're going to want to so again, from this direction, Just watch y'all for a second. Good. Does anybody have any questions? Questions? Good, good, good. Awesome. All right, so let's see here. We've done 1, 2, 3. The next one is ski geidan gaiaishi. Like I said, it gets a little bit more difficult every time. So this one is ski geidan gaiaishi. We've done this in class as well in the past. But this is the breakdown of that movement or that motion. So we're going to ski like we did before, draw it back, and the strike on the drawback is through somebody's knee. So ski, get on, and the last part is where most people end up making mistakes. So what I mean by that is they start here, they do this okay, and then they use all arms on the last part. You don't want to use all arms. You want to do the ski and whip it off your hips. You'll see Sensei do that a lot with this motion. And that's what you want to do. Your power is to be generated from your hips, not with your arms. The way I normally handle this with the Joe is I'll get to here, and if you notice, I'm keeping my arms still relatively extended so that when I'm looking forward, it stays extended. Your grip, as you can see here, the top hand is palm up, the bottom hand is palm down. So, and again, on your ski, don't forget to do the torque, the spin with it. So you're going to ski, get on. So you're going to make sure that you sweep that across. And again, the target is the knee, the knee. So ski, down, gaiaishi. And again, you're going from the knee to the back and the knee to the forward. This angle, ski, get down, gaiaishi. So here, again, finish with palm up, palm down. Make sure that your ski is still a strong ski. And if you're having problems, I know this is like relatively simple in terms of the number of movements, but if you are having problems in terms of trying to get a technique down, my advice is that you're going to want to ski. Well, actually, it's really Saito Sensei's advice. You'd want to ski, wait 2 seconds, wait 2 seconds, finish. And if you have to, reset. And then start over again. So you would ski, wait 2 seconds, wait, here. And the whole point of doing this and that kind of stop-start motion is to make sure that you're not getting sloppy in between the movements. Because the last thing you want to do is get sloppy like that or like so. So if you have to show more control, be controlled. I remember seeing some people that, you know, they were told to stay slow, and they knew they had to keep it slow. So, and they had incredibly good Aikido because of that. Speed is a state of mind. In terms of my feet, ski, get on. So as you can see here, in terms of my feet, I'm reaming forward, reaming back a little bit, and again, opposite, when you're going backwards a little bit, you're going to launch off the front foot. So when you do the initial ski, you're going to launch off the back foot, then you're going to launch a little bit off the front foot, and then you're going to step forward. And I have a tendency to step forward and around a little bit, so you can get that push off with your hips. So ski. And what I mean by a little bit on the back step, it's really a little bit. You're just doing it to get this to go. It's actually, I think, in my opinion, an action of your body moving the Joe back, and so you're launching a little bit back to keep up with it. So ski. And again, on the last part, you're going to emphasize picking that off with your hips. So I'll just watch for a second. There we go. Can everybody do me a favor and raise their right hand? Okay. So let me take a step back on this. So you start off left hand, left foot forward. When you do your ski, it is left hand, left foot forward. When you're doing the get on, it is still, technically speaking, left foot forward. The Joe should be more towards the front end of you. And when you step and kick, it should always be kind of in front of you. Sorry, I'm seeing a little bit of a switch, and I'm wondering if it's the way the camera's facing me. So again, left foot forward, ski, get on, and essentially the Joe should be in front of you the whole time after you start from the left. So left, so again, left foot forward, left hand forward. All right, so let's watch again, just seeing how y'all are doing. Good. Great. So is everyone ready for the next one? Good, good. Okay. So the next one, and I'm going to do this really slowly. Ski. Basically, I think it's a ski to a showman. Ski to a showman. The 20 Joseph Brewery has a lot of lead-ins to the next movement. So in this case, ski, you're bringing it up, and then you're going to show me. So ski, bring it up, and this is not a block. If it was traditional, like a traditional kata, you would see a block. But for Saburi, for some reason, Saito doesn't have this as a block. It goes directly into the shoulder. So ski, bring it up, show me. Keep practicing. And that's Audrey, if you were curious, my neighbor's cat. So ski, bring this up, flip, right, face it this way, ski, this up. And again, when you're doing these movements, you're gonna generate everything from your hips. The other thing that I need to bring up is when you're doing the Shomanuchi, you're gonna make sure that you keep that extension, and the power is gonna come from the hips. And as I've told everybody in the past, or told my students in the past, when you're doing this, it's gonna rotate. This is more like a rotating shaft, and you're using the left hand as a lever to cut down or strike down. So you're here, ski, bring this up, ski, bring it up. And again, if you want to slow down and really get your movements down, start from down here, pull this up, ski like we've done in the past. And again, it's at torque. You're going to bring this up, you're going to bring this around, and you're going to finish with the strike. So, and you just wait a couple seconds in between each motion. So ski, bring this up, and then strike down. Ski, this up. Ski, showman. Ski, so we just see how everybody's doing. Good. Good. And again, emphasis on posture. So always remember that, especially as you get tired throughout the class, posture has a tendency to degrade. What I mean by that is, especially when you're bringing your hands over your head, a lot of people do this. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is make sure that you bring this as high above your head as possible. So anyway, sorry, there's something off screen. So you want to ski, you want to bring this as high above your head as possible, and then you can strike through. If you feel like you're ducking under your jo or even your boken, that's a bad habit you just want to get rid of. So what I mean by that is that if you try to block like this and you get hit, you're just going to hit yourself in the head with your own weapon. So you want to make sure that you ski, you bring this up above, as high above your head as possible, and then you strike. So ski, bring this up. This way. So again, you're going to ski, bring this up, cut down. Again, if you want to go slow, ski, wait 2 seconds, bring this up, wait 2 seconds, flip the jo around, wait another couple seconds, and then finish with the shomanuchi. Finish with the shomanuchi. So you're going to ski, bring this up. Now, I have seen this shown a couple of ways, and I think it's also Saito Sensei changed his ways over time, as a lot of instructors have. Ski here. I was originally taught that this was just a flip around and cut. I know from Kennedy Sensei, his preference on this type of a movement is to come across and then cut. So, or strike, cut across and then strike. So I'll show you that way as well, because I don't just, you start doing that again on a kata, it's not a good idea. So it's probably good for our school to practice it like that. You're still doing a shomen cut. You're not doing a yokomen. There's a difference, as you know, but it's gonna feel like a yokomen. You just don't want to do a yokomen. So you're not doing that diagonal cut. You're doing that vertical cut. So here, if your arms are like my arms and a little bit on the shortest side, and you also have broad shoulders like me, I normally will kind of do a hybrid between the two because I can't get a total grasp around. So what I'll do is I'll let it shift a little bit until I can have it fall in my hands and then finish my strike. So if you are having difficulties of getting the jo all the way over here, you can kind of not grab it, but get as much as you can. And as you turn, this will automatically rotate around. So you just take advantage of that. So again, as you strike, you can let that rotation help you get a hold of it. So ski, brings up. And again, the emphasis is that you're bringing it up to spin the jo for the next strike. You're not bringing it up to block and then strike. That's not this movement. So you're going to ski, you're going to bring it up, and you're going to strike. Ski, bring this up, strike. Ski, bring this up, strike. So I'm gonna watch a little bit more. Okay, good. Does anybody have any questions? No questions? Okay. So the next movement is when we're going into the strikes. So the way Saito Sensei taught it is that when you were starting with the skis, you would start left Hamni. When you're doing the strikes, he started in right Hamni. And he would start at the top, bring it down to the bottom third, bring it up, step back, and then strike. Now, he had two different attitudes towards this, and it was the attitude towards doing a kata versus an attitude towards doing a saburi. Because we're doing a saburi, his emphasis is going to be a little bit different than if he was teaching a kata. So what I mean by that is on a saburi, because it was supposed to be for exercise, and in terms of getting things down in general, and actually to help enhance your technique, he would emphasize that you can bring this all the way down and all the way out when you're striking. So he would, here. Now, if you're doing a kata, especially kata with somebody else, it was more military-like, so it would be here and be shorter. But again, the principles and the premise behind it are different reasons. When you're doing a kata, because you're up against an opponent, this is how you have to be. You have to be aggressive, because this takes too long to strike, but this generates more power. So this is what you would do in a kata. And I even seen him do it where you would do this and then you would let it drop, which is probably the best of both worlds, because you're getting that practice of bringing it up and holding it up here, but you're also learning how to extend your arm length. So I guess we're going to do it that way. So you're going to bring it up here. You're going to bring up. Do it over here. So you're going to bring this up. And again, as you're doing this, you want to keep that posture. The other thing, if you haven't noticed, is that again, I'm starting right Hamni on this, and I'm taking a step back, and I'm finishing right Hamni. The other thing that you should probably realize is that I'm here, I'm finishing, and I'm finishing with the Joe flat. And that's another thing I catch a lot of people doing at times. A lot of my students doing at times is they let this get out of control, and when they finish, their strike is all the way down here. It's pointing down, and you don't want that. You want it to sit flat. Much like the Boken, the way Saito Sensei taught it, it was more or less flat. But the way you're finishing with the Joe strikes, you're finishing flat. If you don't have the control to finish like this, then you want to slow down. It is a strong indication that you want to slow down on your movements. So if you can't get that, slow down and make sure that you're flat. So sure I get this right. Here, flat. And do it slower. It's a habit of mine, my apologies. Here. So you want to make sure that you keep it slow and controlled every time. The emphasis is that your speed is developed by your technique. It's not developed by generating more power, more strength. Those all fall against you over time. Not just because you get older, but as you train longer, you're going to get more exhausted. You're going to get tired. And you're going to start developing those bad habits I was talking about earlier. The other reason why I like this exercise is, again, it emphasizes that you do have to have this Joe above your head. If you feel like you're ducking under the Joe, then you got to get your arms up. So he's also taught it from here as well, where you would just do this. However, because all of us are doing self-practice right now, you can go ahead and just do it as methodical as possible. And again, if you can, record yourself, watch yourself, figure out what you're doing wrong. And even if you can't figure out what you're doing wrong, know what is wrong and then work on that. So my biggest thing when I first started training a lot in weapons was my posture, making sure my posture was correct, making sure that the finish was correct. So what I mean by that, and this is actually a good point to start on this, this major point in terms of your training is this definitely will emphasize that, those kinds of mistakes that I was referring to. So again, watch yourself. When you finish, look at yourself in the computer or the mirror and make sure that your back's straight, that your knees are bent, and that your Joe is finished flat. So here, here. You can record yourself to see what else you're doing wrong, because you really want to focus on looking forward when you're doing your techniques. You don't want to sit there and do what I've been doing the whole class, which is looking at the computer while I'm trying to do a strike. So focus forward. As the saying goes, your opponent's here, you're striking here, why are you looking over here? The same thing would be true with, open hand. If your opponent's here, you need to throw your opponent this way, then why are you looking this way? And that's mostly common with the Riminages, but that's the whole point. You want to focus where you're, striking. You want to focus where you're throwing your opponents. So look forward. Again, on this angle. And you want to make sure you're getting that full strike. You should feel Joe tapping you on the back before you'd want to go forward. That'd be like your indicator, your field gauge, I guess you want to call it that. All right, let me watch for a second. Okay, so just to reemphasize a couple points, when you're doing this, your right palm knee, your right hand starts off forward on this. You're going to lift it up with the right hand. The left hand is going to be on the bottom. You're going to take a step back with the right foot, and then you're going to step forward with the right foot. So if you feel like you want to train on both sides, you probably can. Saito Sensei just never taught it that way, so I'm not going to teach it that way. So if you do want to, on your own, practice this left-handed, which I think I just got that backwards. If you do want to practice this left-handed, so you can, but I would do that outside of the class. So yes, the Jo is an ambidextrous weapon, but for the sake of what Saito taught, he taught all of his strikes starting with the right hand, so that's what I'm going to do. So, but anyway, so in this case, you start right-handed, start right foot forward, and you take a step back with that right foot, and then you take a step forward with that right foot. So, lift it up. And I just rushed there, so you don't do that either. So you're going to bring this up, step back. And again, as you're breathing on this, you're inhaling on the way up, and you're exhaling on the way down. So you just watch for a couple more minutes. Okay, good. Good, good, much better. All right. So does anybody have any questions? No questions? No questions? Just do this if you want to, or this, or, okay. All right, so I'll try to keep it slow on this next one. So here, 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 here. Did you get all that? I don't think so. It's all good. So you are lifting it up like you did before. You're gonna do the showman, and then you're gonna bring it up over your head, and you're gonna strike again. So it's a 1-2. So again, on this one, you're gonna bring it up, you're gonna strike, and then you're gonna strike. And you're gonna step with your left foot. So I'll just do this really slowly again. You're going to bring this up, right foot goes back, right foot goes forward, you're gonna strike, and you're gonna bring this up. You're gonna have the Jo walk around you, and you're gonna strike again, and your left foot's gonna be forward. So here, dang it, here, step back, step forward, step forward. Here, step forward, step forward. So here, step back, step forward, step forward. So as you can see here, I'm starting right hand, right foot forward. You're gonna bring it up. You're gonna take a step back with that right foot. You're gonna step forward with that right foot, and then as you lift up, and again, I'm lifting this above my head. The left hand's gonna be above my head. The right foot, or the right hand, is going to just let it wrap around to the back. And you're gonna finish your strike as you complete your step. So you're gonna come up, here, here. So you're gonna pick this up, strike, strike. I'll try to do it full speed. So here, strike, strike. The challenge of if you're doing the back-to-backs, which I'm still having difficulty with at full speed, is you want to make sure, again, that when you strike, you finish with the Joe flat, and then you let it drop. You don't want it to bounce, or you don't want it to just drop all the way through. That's not what was intended. The intention is to make sure that you have two distinctive strikes. And as you saw that at full speed, it was not two distinctive strikes. I just struck through and then swirled the Joe around. Let me try it again. So you want to make sure you keep that at two separate strikes. Don't try to blend it all too much together because then you lose the point of it. So again, you're going to raise this up, strike, strike. I'm just going to watch for a second. Okay. So the second part of this strike. So again, you're going to bring this up. Everybody's doing really good on this. You're going to strike, and then you're going to bring this up above your head. The Joe is not going to go, like, you're not going to have it down here. You want to have it way above your head. And then you're going to finish with the second strike. So this is where it does, again, you just want to have that practice. And as I said in the last class, you want to, if you have to, imagine just bring this as high above your head as possible. I can guarantee you that over time it's going to droop a little bit, but you want to make it, you want to have the feeling you're going to have this as high above the head as possible when you're doing your strikes. I know I'm overemphasizing it, but you want to do that in your practice so that you can get in the habit of doing it at a smoother speed. And what I mean by that is, as you start smoothing things out, you're thinking that you're bringing it all the way up here, but the reality is you're bringing it up to where you feel it's a comfortable extension. So sometimes you have to overextend a little bit to get the feeling of where you should be at in normal extension. Because what you think is your normal extension is your, you're here, you're thinking you're at normal extension, but you're really down here and the Joe's practically resting on your head. And then as you do the second one, you're here and the Joe's actually in front of your face. That's not high enough. So I always think of it as here, here. As you can see, I'm really trying to get above my head. You want it above, you want to try to get above your head as much as possible. So if you feel like you're kind of quirky with this, or if you feel like, oh my God, that's too high, it's not too high. It's much easier to get too low than it is to get too high. So you're here, sorry, here, here, here. I always think about popping it as high above my head as possible. It's much better. The other thing I'm noticing, you're doing this, and again, the first strike, everybody's doing fine, so I don't mind if I'm off camera a little bit. On the second one, if you notice, I'm letting the Joe drop here. It's not all the way out here. I'm letting it drop, and then I'm striking forward. So what I'm doing here is here, here. So as you can tell, I'm letting the Joe drop on that second strike. Right? So I want to see you guys do it for a little bit more. Do it a few more times. So just go slowly here. One here. So strike. Raise the left hand all the way up. Let this hand drop. Strike again. So here, strike, strike. So make sure, and again, if you have to do this extremely slowly to get every little point down, and that's what you're going to do. So you're going to bring this up. You're going to strike. Wait 2 seconds. Bring this up. Make sure that the Joe is dropped. And at times I will actually feel it touching my shoulder. And then as I step forward and strike again. But make sure that you're actually feeling the Joe touching your shoulder. You want to feel like you're walking around your Joe, right? Then that's what it's going to sort of feel like. You're feeling the Joe, or like you're walking around the Joe. And the Joe's just kind of wrapping around and then swinging around. Because that hip movement, this hip movement here, is what helps that guide around and go over my head. So if I did this and let this, just use this hand here, you're going to see that the movement here, you see how much power the hips are doing just off one hand. That's for me just holding my left hand. I wouldn't recommend you doing that towards your computer screen, but that's what you want to do. Just give it a second. So just going to watch one more time. So one again, quick piece of advice on these. Always remember that every showman strike is going to start off right palm knee forward. So your right hand, your right leg is always going to lead. It's always going to start off on this. So if you're starting off on your left was kind of reserved for ski, and I believe Yoko Benucci. I could be wrong on that. But the left was on these Saburi, definitely. Left was reserved for ski. Right was reserved for the strikes. So that's how you're going to want to start off with this. So again, start off right foot forward, right hand forward. You're going to bring this up, and you're going to step back. And so you are going to be left on knee in the beginning. But again, it's being guided by the movement of your right foot. So you're going to step back to left on knee, and then you're going to step forward to right hand knee. And then as you lift up, you're going to step forward and you're going to finish in left hand knee. So you're going to start up, right, or left hand, sorry. You're going to start right hand knee. You're going to bring this up, and then you're going to go in left hand knee. And then as you finish your strike, you're going to go back into right hand knee. And then as you bring this up and cut down, you're going to finish left hand knee. Let's do this again. So bring this up. You're going to strike and step forward in right hand knee. You're going to bring this up again, and then you're going to step forward and strike with your left hand knee. So bring this up, strike, right hand knee. Strike. You're going to step back, step forward, so you're going to be right hand knee. You're going to bring this up, left hand knee. So you're going to bring this up, step back, you're going to be left hand knee. You're going to strike forward, right hand knee is going to be where you're going to finish. You're going to bring it up, you're going to finish left hand knee. So think of it as more like, okay, right hand knee, that's nice. You're going to take a step back, you're going to step forward, and you're going to walk forward. So keep doing it again. Just want to watch y'all. So keep going. Much, much better. How much time do we got? Okay, I got about 10 minutes. Okay. We have about 10 minutes left. Thinking here. I did want to show some pointers. How many people here also brought a bokken? Great, go grab your bokken real quick. Yeah. So what we're going to do real quickly is I just want to show how you can kind of practice using a bokken indoors like a Joe. And the reason why I want to do this is last week is a prime example of that. The weather was not the best. And not everybody has the luxury of finding a carport or a garage. They're either stuck in an apartment or a room, and you need to do something to kind of help be able to train a little bit if you want to train in weapons, but not have the ability to utilize the full length of a Joe, or I mean, utilize the length of a bokken, or utilize even partial length of a Joe. However, if you hold a bokken, or if you even have I measure this out, a bokken's about 40 inches. Just if you could get a broomstick, cut it up to 40 inches, that also works. But in my case, because there's not enough curvature in a bokken, you can also use this like a Joe if you need to. And some people have done this in seminars, but I realize this is probably your best option in a house. So I just want to kind of go over some of the movements that I taught earlier and kind of show you, hey, you can do this in your house or in your apartment if you're stuck indoors. So when we're here, obviously we're not going to start here unless you want to, but you can, again, start off like you're holding a bokken and strike and come down. Does it feel odd? It feels a little odd, but you're getting the same type of practice without making it a huge risk in a small area. So if I was in my house right now, I could use this. You know how little room I'm taking up when I'm doing this. The other thing is here, right? You can pop this up. Is it an ideal situation? No, but you can still get that same level of practice that we've been doing all evening. So, oh, and also on this one too. Right? So I just practice with what you know. We only have 10 minutes left. I just want you all to get familiar with how to utilize a bokken for Joe practice, as odd as that sounds. And again, if you feel like this is too weird, again, find a straight stick, cheap stick that you can get out of like Home Depot, order it online if you want to, and just cut it to 40 inches, and it'll get you what you want. The Shomanuchis. This will definitely work in your house, because as you notice, when you hold the grip like so, wider than what you would do with a bokken, it cuts down on the length on this to the point where it probably, I mean, I do a test check on it, but it probably will not hit most ceilings. So you can also do, and even do what we just did, which was let's step back, step forward. So, because you just want to make sure you have that wide grip. So, like I said, what we just did a second ago, strut, step, step. So, yeah, I mean, if you're in a house and you have enough room to do it in the house, we can do it this way. And I would recommend doing it this way. So, again, you know, your strikes, your skis. And, right? So, ski. That reverse ski. So I just want to watch you guys do it a little bit, see how you're doing, see how you get acclimated to something that's completely different. But it's just really the point that if you think, oh no, I can't practice any weapons at all in an indoor space, this kind of helps say maybe you can. Is it an ideal situation? No, but I mean, in this day and era, or day and age, it's, you know, good to learn how to improvise and to substitute. And remember, when you're doing this, you want to avoid getting in the habit of holding the bokken like a bokken. You really want to make sure that you're holding it like a Joe. So I know it's a bokken. I know you're supposed to hold it like a bokken. But again, you're stuck indoors. You might need to hold it like a Joe. So just keep doing it a little bit more. And I'll do a quick review of what we've been doing tonight. So we did 7 of the strikes. Sorry, 7 of the strikes. We did ski, the other ski with palms down. We did ski, kidan, daiachi. All right. We did 4, and then we did the oh yeah, ski. Which, so we did this ski, and again, make sure that when you do the flip, you don't create like a bokken. So this one, which I forgot to do earlier with y'all, or I mean, with the bokken earlier, and then on the other part. So those are the first 5. The second one, so take the step back to the showman, and then take the step back to the showman, raise it up, do the showman again. So that's pretty much all I had for tonight. Does anybody have any questions? Questions? I think Steve has a question. One second.
Hey.
Sorry, now we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, no question. Thank you.
Okay. Randall, Kim, you're good? So you know everything there is to know. So next week, I'll probably go back and review these, but at a faster pace, unless we have like a whole slew of new people. And I will go over more of the steps. Like I said, we did 7 out of 20. And it gets more complex as you go down the line. some of which I would probably say it's not safe to do all indoors. So there's a couple of them have dubbed room sweepers, and you'll see why when we do it with a Joe. Definitely make sure you have plenty of room outside when we get to those. But otherwise, I just wanted to give everybody at least an idea, saying, hey, you know, this is a core practice in Wama style, so you can find videos on the internet of Saito Sensei showing these. He will show it slightly different ways at different ages of his life, so just be ready for that. But I felt it's a good way for you if you're trying to get some more practice at home. These are some very good exercises. And then to add to it, I also wanted to show, hey, if it's raining outside and you still want to do some weapons indoors, you can at least do some things indoors with weapons. The recommendation is that you treat a bokken like a Joe when you're doing it, just to help minimize any potential damage. Because I do know that a bokken can still create quite a distance if you're, cutting like a bokken. Unless you have like a really big room. So anyway, are y'all ready to bow out?
Yeah.
Grab your Joe, since that was a weapon we started with. Make sure the Joe is on the left side. All right. Bow to a sensei. Thank you, everyone. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.